Hey, I just wanted to record a quick video to talk about my next operation session. I'm all set to run it. All the trains are in staging. I swapped out some of the cars, most of the cars on the trains, as much as I could, because of course you're not going to see the same train run back with the cars it just pulled to take back again, so that doesn't make any sense. So I've swapped a lot of the cars out. So for example, this potash car wasn't in my last session. A couple of these two are the through trains, so they're not quite as important. But the other cars in the back there are different. And I've got some ballast cars there. I still haven't quite decided if I'm going to run a ballast train or not, but they're assembled there in case they need to. Up here, all the CP cars, CP trains, the two CP trains, and the cars to go back to Minnedosa are all set up. A couple of changes that will be in the next operation session is this Via train here. You can see has a locomotive and baggage car and a couple of coaches, so that will run. So that is new for me. This Via locomotive here is a CN. I guess it's a Jeep 38, but it has the Via on it. That it was done by a friend of mine. I bought it from him, and it runs pretty well. I kind of like the look of it. It's kind of a foobie because this was never a real Via locomotive, but I like it. So I'll be running that. The other change I made is in terms of the train orders. What I have been doing is having these car cards like this, with the front page describing the train and what it does, and then a bunch of car cards in the middle with this pocket with the destination. So I've changed that. Still have the car cards, but I'm not putting anything in the pocket. So instead, what I have is this. The front, it's more like a switch list. So the front has the train, the same information at the top. CN 404 runs from Millville to Winnipeg. When it departs in maximum cars, but here's the work it's going to do. In Georgetown and Irving Wild, it's going to pick up nothing, and it's going to set out CG TX 23220, which is one of these tank cars, this one. And at the Manitoba Pool, it's going to pick up nothing, and it's going to set out two cars, which are these two right here, that one and that one. So what I didn't like in the last operation session was that the crew did not know what work they were going to have to do until they actually got to the town. And that's not realistic, because normally the crew is told exactly what the work is going to do, what cars they're going to pull, and what cars they're going to set out. And so that this is an attempt to make it more realistic. Now, I think one of the side effects of this is I'm not going to need to do any work with these little chits to tell it where to go, where to pull, because basically all that work is done ahead of time when the switch list is prepared. So we're going to see how that works. It's going to be an interesting trial. So this is what I'll be doing. So there's CN 404. A big one here is CP 948. You can see it's really long. That's this one here. And so it's got work to do at the CP Express. It's going to pull one car and spot one car. Same thing with the team track. Same thing. The siding is going to pick up two cars, and then it's going to drop off three cars, those two cars at the UGG elevator, and pick up three. So it's got a lot of work to do. It's going to be the most busy train. So that's really what I've got ready for the operation session. I can't think of anything else I've done. Oh yeah, I've got to clean up. My nephew was over here, so he was driving my trucks around, so I got to clean that up. I've changed the cars that are ready for pickup. So there's 5 cars here ready for pickup at the Cargill elevator with the helicopter on the roof. So, like I say, my nephew is here. He likes driving the trains and he likes driving the trucks. So good for him. Just a few things to pick up before we're ready to go. Oh yeah, one more thing. I've been experimenting with doing some cardstock elevators. So I did 3 different cardstock elevators here. So this is my first attempt here with the no back. So it's basically I made the shape on my computer, and then I printed it out on a piece of paper and taped it here to the cardstock. Cut it in the right shape and taped it. That worked pretty well. Then I did just folded the paper, but you can see it's quite flimsy. So the next one I did was I took the paper. I took 2 sheets of paper, basically 2 identical ones with tabs and everything else. So you can see there's a fair bit of engineering in it, I guess. The problem is that when I glued the paper to the cardstock, you can see I used white glue and it wrinkled it quite a bit. So I'm not really sure any of these are really good enough yet, but I'm going to have something. I'm going to keep experimenting and we'll see what we come up with. So that is the preparations for my session. So thanks for watching, and pretty soon we'll have some operations videos coming up. Thanks for subscribing to my channel.